One guy was really scared of the title, and he said, "So every man, your father, your brother, if you have one, everyone that is fighting for countries, I don't think that you are thinking this all the way through. No me, no children, an extinction." So I just want to reassure everyone here that I'm not planning on killing all men, and I just don't have the energy for it. But I will read an extract of it. It was never my intention to kill anyone. I just wanted to form a support group of women where we could all complain about men. Well, I thought we could meet for coffee or something a little stronger, then get on with our lives while feeling a little lighter. The idea for the group stemmed from a conversation with my best friend Emily after the latest incident of a man thinking he had the right to take up my personal space. We were sitting in a quiet cafe in Stockport on one of the rare occasions we both had the afternoon off. I was late because I got off the bus 2 stops early and walked the rest of the way, which was all uphill. I explained why hill training suddenly became my preferred option to having the bus drop me off a few yards from the cafe. The guy sitting behind me on the bus had rested his arm near the window pane where I sat. His arm slid off multiple times and his hand kept brushing against my shoulder. I had to lean so far forward that I was barely on the seat anymore. Not once did he take the hint and retract his arm. I told myself maybe I was imagining it, so didn't say anything for fear of overreacting. Maybe there wasn't as much space behind me as I thought. Perhaps he just had incredibly long arms, like that Mr. Man character, Mr. Tickles. I glanced back as I got off the bus. His arms didn't look that long to me, but at least he hadn't tried to tickle me yet. If he had, I would have a reason to turn around and hit him with my bag of books. Otherwise, I would look like the one in the wrong, so I had to endure it. Men's behaviour on public transport or in public at all made me want to drive more, but I've been told that I'm grumpier after driving. The roads around Manchester made it impossible to get anywhere fast, and it frustrated me, so I rarely used my car. Women generally have a creep dar, Emily suggested, sipping on her mocha. I think it's to try to even out the playing field because there's so many creeps out there pretending to be nice guys. So if you thought he was a creep, he probably was. Still, a few days later, I took the same bus but in reverse from Denton to Stockport and chose the seat the suspected creep sat on the previous time. Nobody was sitting in the seat in front of me, so I leaned my arm forward and rested it in the same space his hand had been. No, I wasn't overreacting. He would have had to lean far forward and stretch a bit, even accounting for his arm being a bit longer than mine. It was far from the worst thing a man had ever done to me, but it was still an intrusion into my personal space. That was part of the reason it annoyed me so much. It made me doubt myself and feel like I couldn't say anything. When I called Emily and told her, she didn't sound surprised and launched into a story about a guy who sat behind her on the bus and was leaning in so close he could see the emails on her phone. She confirmed this when another friend sent her a funny picture and the man behind laughed. It became obvious that this was the start of a much longer chat, so I invited her to my flat. After a few glasses of wine, Emily and I got talking about other stories we'd heard from women we knew. They ranged from men following women home at night and getting angry if the woman confronted them about it, to men who couldn't take no for an answer and thought women's bodies were there to be touched, regardless of whether the woman consented. Some of the more frustrating stories were where the woman went to the police and they either didn't do anything or a visit from the police made the man angry. And guess what? Yes, he took his anger out on the woman who had reported him. It made me so mad. Everyone has a story. Most people have more than one. And you can't scroll through social media without finding a news article about a woman being harassed or worse by a man. I felt like I should do something and was tired of myself for other women always being helpless in those situations. So I placed an ad in the local newspaper. It read, support group for local women. Most women have had a man stalk or harass them or just generally make them feel uncomfortable. If you're reading this, you're a woman and can relate. Join our group event. I didn't want to put any details about the venue I'd decided on or share my personal phone number, as I suspected a few men might see this as an invitation to call or just show up and find a few more women to bother. Instead, I included an email address that I'd set up just for the support group. I was right not to include anything other than a throwaway email address. I received dozens of emails. I guessed a lot were from men, though not all were obvious. The more obvious ones suggested that women should be grateful for a man's attention. One charmer said I had a big nose and a droopy face and wore dungarees in the winter, and that I looked like a fish while having sex. It was oddly specific, and I wondered if he was basing this on someone he knew, perhaps himself or an imagined female version of himself. Another man just emailed a picture of a certain part of his anatomy. I guess it must have been cold when he took it. I siphoned through all the emails from people claiming to be women. The only thing I could think to do was to look up the names on social media and confirm they were real people. I did this for 10 of them. The rest had no online presence. I had no intention of inviting anyone to the group who I couldn't confirm was who they said they were. I sent friend or follow requests to the 10 names I found, along with a message saying who I was and mentioning the support group. 5 of these responded, and that's how our little group of 6 was formed. I booked a meeting room 10 minutes away from my flat, and I hoped that I could convince the others to pay towards hiring it after a few weeks of meeting. Otherwise, it would get too expensive to pay for by myself or my teaching assistant salary. I arrived 15 minutes before everyone else, made coffee in a small kitchen area, then wondered if any of them would show up. Or what if I was wrong and they were all men pretending to be women? Anyone could start a social media profile and take a few pictures from other websites. I only felt like I could finally breathe when the others started to arrive. Gemma was the first, followed by Kate and Lisa. Those two told me they were cousins. Kate had seen the ad and told Lisa about it. Pauline was the oldest at 41. The rest of us were in our 20s. I thought maybe the last person, Elena, had a change of heart and was just about to introduce myself and ask everyone to say what brought them here when she arrived out of breath and red-faced. I'm sorry I'm late. I had a guy follow me on the train and I had to go into a shop and book an Uber just to shake him off. Instead of the formal introductions I had planned, everyone began to share similar stories and the venting began. Although I preferred that women didn't have to deal with this crap, I was grateful for the icebreaker. Despite only talking to all of them on social media, I felt like I knew them all. I'd heard too many similar stories before, but it left me feeling frustrated and helpless. Maybe that's why I spoke up. We might not have much else in common for all I knew, but one thing bound us together, our fear of men. Okay, maybe that's an overstatement. It wasn't all men, and I'd never run away at the sight of the opposite sex, but that it'd always been aware that it could be any man. Being attractive or unattractive made no difference. Neither did a man's job, his friends, family, or where they lived, even though some people tried to blame those factors on the rare occasions they were caught out. I wasn't buying it though. Anyway, it was impossible to tell which were the ones that would follow you home at night, put something in your drink, or slowly but surely alienate you from everyone until all you had was him. Most women only found that out when it was too late. We should do something. I was about to ask what when I realised it was me who had spoken. Aren't we doing something already with this group? Elena asked. I think she means something a little more proactive, Kate said. Well, it's not like we can kill them, is it? Lisa's words lingered in the air long after she spoke them. It may have been a throwaway comment, but for 1 second, her angry expression told me she meant it. Her face quickly relaxed and she shrugged. Pauline offered to hold the next meeting at her home. I agreed, preferring not to keep paying for the meeting room. I took her address. She lived in Gorton, which wasn't too far to travel from my flat in Denton. As I walked home, I saw a couple of men who must have been in their 50s wolf whistling at a girl who was barely legal. They were so self-confident in their out-of-shape bodies that they seemed to think it was okay to wear jeans that showed their hairy bum cracks. The girl glanced back, then quickened her pace across the bridge towards the retail park. This only made the men laugh, like any reaction was good, even fear. One of them grabbed his own crotch and yelled, You know you want this, love. I had been in her place too many times and recalled the embarrassment and nagging fear that one of them might try to get physical. It wasn't a compliment to be ogled by a group of men old enough to be your dad. Lisa's words replayed in my head. It's not like we can kill them. Still, there must be something I could do. I made a mental note to think about our options before the next meeting, but I never got the chance to make my suggestion of setting up a system where we all checked in with each other and had a code word if one of us felt threatened. The following week, I arrived at the address Pauline had given us, and I heard shouting before I had time to ring the doorbell. I stopped with my hand hanging in the air just inches away from the doorbell. The first voice belonged to a man, although I couldn't hear what he was saying. His tone and volume told me he was angry. It was an all too familiar pitch. Then I heard a female voice speaking much quieter. I dropped my arm to my side and leaned my head towards the door, trying to hear what they were saying. Please, the female voice said. It was the same tone women use when trying to calm down an irate man. Don't plead with me now, the man shouted. You never thought of me when you were flirting with him, twiddling your hair around your finger like a stupid, desperate schoolgirl. It was just a window cleaner. That wasn't flirting. I was paying him the money for the last 3 times you forgot. By this time, the others arrived. Kate and Lisa stood at the other side of me, while Gemma and Elena stood behind us. Should we do something? I turned around to answer Gemma, but there was a loud crashing sound from inside the house. We all looked at each other. We need to get in there now, Elena said. I began to kick at the door. It wasn't as easy as they made it look on TV. After a few kicks, my foot hurt. Kate and Lisa joined in, kicking and banging at the door. Unsurprisingly, it didn't budge. Stop, Gemma said. We need to work together if we want to get inside. She stepped forward alongside Lisa and Kate. After three, she told them. 3, 2, 1. The three of them kicked out in unison. The door shook a little but didn't open. There was no space for Elena and me to join in. We could only stand there and watch. I considered taking my phone out of my bag and calling 999. Would the police turn up or dismiss it as a domestic? Again, Gemma ordered, and the three of them counted down together. On two, the door opened, and a man in his 40s filled the doorframe, looking down at us with a scowl on his unshaven face. What the fuck are you doing to my door? Five of us looked at each other, then at him. I can't say for sure what was going on in the other girls' heads, but that was the moment I realised we couldn't hear Pauline inside. I think at least some of them realised the same thing too. Pauline, Elena called out. There was no response. We all started calling out to Pauline inside the house that was eerily quiet. Will you shut up? He demanded, lashing out and punching Kate in the face. She fell backwards onto the pavement. It was almost as if this act unified us so that we were all temporarily on the same wavelength. The four of us glanced at Kate for just long enough to make sure she was okay. Then we charged at the man in unison. I had expected us to do this, but from the look on his face, neither had he. This joint effort and the surprise element was enough to push him out of the way, and he stumbled at the bottom of the staircase. He fell on his back. Although he was still conscious, the impact was enough to knock the wind out of him. This brought us a minute to run inside and into the living room. We all stopped after a few steps. Behind a grey three-seater sofa, I saw a pair of legs in black tights and a grey knee-length black skirt. A white fluffy slipper was on the right foot, while the other had fallen off nearby. I was the first to step forward and peer over. Pauline lay face down on the ground, a brown hair obscuring her face. She wasn't moving, and I didn't get time to confirm whether she was dead or alive. Bitches, a voice growled. I turned around but knew it was him before I saw him. He killed her, Lisa said. And I'll finish off with a more light-hearted poem that's based on an imaginary affair I had with Kiefer Sutherland, who, apart from being a really good actor, he also does country music now. And this is called 10 Minutes with Kiefer. Do you remember, Kiefer, when I went to your gig and you sang every line of that love song while never taking your eyes off me? Do you remember when I found you backstage like you were a lost boy and I said you could stand by me? But as soon as we got started, neither of us were standing. We were doing it the cowboy way, with you watching yourself in the mirrors. You yelled, "We're running out of time," then left me alone. You only had 23 hours and 50 minutes left to save the country from terrorists. I had to tell Andy there was a big queue for the toilets, but he never knew. Do you remember the following morning we bumped into you in Weatherspoons and I had to act like that last night never happened? Then later I tried to call you from the phone booth, but you never answered. You left me forsaken. That's me done.
Yeehaw!
Woohoo! Wow, well done, my friends. Thank you so much, Amanda. Uh, please feel free to unmute your mics and clap or comment. I love the way you start out, and considering the title, you say, "It was never my intention to kill anyone." Uh,
It's a great first
so,
line, that it really is.
oh, absolutely. Great stuff. Feel free, anyone to comment. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Amanda. That was really good. I appreciated your reading.
Indeed.
Got us hooked like from the very first line, like I say, really attention grabbing. And I gotta say, I'll never watch The Lost Boys the same way.
No comment.
Even my cat came to congratulate you. So
Oh, I love the cat.
that is a happy cat.
So what's the sequel going to be called, man? The Death to All Cats, then, is it?
No, I've never heard of
Oh,
that.
God.
Rework that title, and I'm
Not
pretty
bad.
sure there's a title there. Rework cat for something else, and I'm pretty sure she can knock a book up about us.
Meow.
He's taking over. Really powerful stuff, Amanda. And it's so finely crafted. I'm so glad that this is out, in print for people.
Yeah.
And please put a link in the chat as to where one can buy your books. Andy as well, if people want to buy Andy's books. This is a power couple of brilliant creatives. Quite a painting behind you, Andy, by the way.
Oh, that's one of my friend's paintings. That's all. Now I have to do my own
Nice.
Amanda for once.
Wow, it's wild. Okay, let's just take another couple minutes. Feel free to refresh your cup or whatever you like to drink, and we'll be right back in. I took my watch off. We got completely covered in hummus the other day on a car trip. So yeah, in about 3 minutes we shall return, and that will be 52 or 32. No, or 22 if you're in India.
Hey, Rorschach, can you hear this? Oh, great. It took me 3 years to figure out how to play an instrument on Zoom because all the tutorials are wrong. They all tell you to enable the musicians, thing. It's not that. You have to do a noise reduction. It's really very easy once you know, but everybody has it wrong. All the tutorials are wrong for me. So,
Applaud your persistence, Mark.
yeah,
Persistence paid off.
okay. So good, I can play, okay.
And I just want to add my thanks to Amanda for her brilliant feature today.
Absolutely. And I'm glad it's recorded. I got the comments in here, and now I am remembering to stop the film.